Today we have white oak, straight up Quercus alba, white oak. I don't know who saw this, but it's crooked. No, I'm just kidding, I saw it. My neighbor said that this white oak tree, among like half a dozen other ones, was putting leaves in his gutters and he wanted to cut them down. Did I want the wood? So I said, yeah. And it was one of those fork trees, the two trees in one, a couple of trailer 5x10 trailer loads, some big stuff to split, and then some little stuff like this. Got the big Mueller, like 6.5 pounder. Not the most efficient splitter because the wide blade can kind of get stuck, but this kind of stuff I really like it because it's a smaller target, and sometimes I'm not splitting it on the end, I'm splitting it down the middle, and this is just a good blade for that. And it's fun to swing. White oak, especially the limb wood, can be challenging sometimes. There's often knots and twists, they grow like that, you know. But it is white oak. I really enjoy working on it. I like burning it. And today I got 3 different sizes. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You get this stuff, it's smaller. Fits in the palm of your hand, pretty good. Then I got the next one, next size up, which is twice as big, up to, you know, these sizes. Oh, and then there's the big rounds, which you can see all out in there. And the trailer's got a little mix on it. Right, so the first size, the small size, I probably will leave whole and just plan on seasoning it for 2 years. Maybe ready by next fall. It is small, but it takes some time, especially when it's cut green. And in the spring, like this was, sap is rising. Both of these, this tree was, like I said, it was a clump. And carpenter ants, they just eat the core out. And so it did have a lot of dead in it. But what I'm doing today, I've been busy doing other projects around the place, and said, well, I want to get out there and cut a little wood, split a little wood. And what I'm doing today is making what I call, or what's known as cooking splits. And cooking splits are about like that, a split, so it dries nice, but it's about 2 by 2. I mean, this one's probably 2.5 by 1.5 here, and you know, but about 2 by 2. Fits in the hand nice, culls quickly, but isn't so small that it burns right up. So those will go in the barbecue meat smoker or the wood-fired oven, and I will sell these. I got one customer who he buys only white oak, and then he has to split it all up even more. Well, because I could use the exercise, I told him I would just split it if I happened upon some more oak this year, which looks like I'm going to, and I have. So yeah, making firewoods or cooking splits today. That's perfect one. Perfect. I don't really know if oak dries out any faster if you split it like that or not. I would think that it does because surface area and all that stuff. But I don't know. A lot of people say oak takes 2 years to season, and I think that's pretty accurate. I'm sure I said that it doesn't require it in past videos. I live in the Mid-South, and it gets pretty hot here for a long time. But I burned red oak that was 2 years old and it still sizzled a little bit. So I guess it depends on what your definition of seasoned is. If it's really cold and I don't want to get up and feed the wood stove, or if I got to go do something and can't sit there and feed it, I'm reaching for white oak to put in there so it burns a lot longer. So if there's a little moisture in it, it takes it longer to burn up. So maybe it doesn't burn as hot as like perfectly dry wood. It burns pretty hot, and more importantly in this case for a long time. You could tell this piece was dying. Healthy piece. It's got that kind of chestnut blonde wood, and it kind of gradually goes into sapwood. This one's got a clear ring, defined ring. And you can see some bad spots in it, some holes. Splits a little better. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to pop a couple of these big ones open. Let's see if I can get it stuck. Yeah, this is a pretty good size for these cooking splits. It's also a good size to leave into some long burning wood, but it's a pretty dandy split right there. I could leave this half like this. That'd make a good standard issue stick of firewood, but I got plenty for that. And when they're splitting good like this one, I like to take advantage of it. Oh, I missed. It's 3 weeks into April, and it's not really the time people usually cut wood. I typically cut it all year, and it just keeps me active. Some things probably be a little bit more accomplished if I didn't spend quite so much time cutting wood. But you know, man's gonna have a hobby. Next weekend, I'm cutting down a big dead ash tree at my neighbor's house. Big one, like 24 inches around. So I'm looking forward to splitting that big bad boy up. And we'll put that on the channel. I'm gonna load up the trailer. I like to bring them home whole like that. It's not that hard to roll them up onto the trailer if you got a low trailer. And that way I can crack them at my leisure. This Mueller Axe. I can remember when I kind of started getting into, I guess we'll call it axe collecting. You know, back when all I had was a hand-me-down chainsaw and a fiberglass split maul. I saw these Mueller axes and their internet presence was quite young, and thought, well, okay, those are kind of cool. These shapes were so weird to me. I just couldn't get it. I didn't get it. But I'm glad I got this one. It's a handsome axe. This part is still kind of odd to me, but feels like it's just a board they stuck, you know, the head on and then carved the handle out of, which technically they're all kind of like that. But I really like it. It can handle lots of duties. And you can hear the ring in the steel. It's good, world-class quality steel. Hickory handle, big bit. I think this is probably like a softwood felling axe or forester's axe or something. You could probably use it to do some hewing because of the size of it, or splitting like I'm doing now. She's sharp and tough. I mean, this is not the cleanest wood. But it's just it's a mighty big, and sometimes I wish this part was a little bit shorter so it didn't go forward before it flared out, but that's really only for aesthetics. This is definitely more functionally useful because it allows this bit to drive deeper into the wood before and split the wood more before there's any as much chance of hitting the handle. Obviously I've hit it a couple of times, but that's 6 inches of penetration there at least before you get to the eye. So that makes sense now that I've used it. Kind of a bigger one here. Bingo. It's warm. It's been sitting out in the sun, but you can sweat to the touch. A lot of juice in this stuff. But I don't think it's as wet as red oak. Red oak is ridiculous. I'll split a few more and not bug you yammering on. This was way naughty. Double. There's the carpenter ant destruction. This is the smaller of the two trunks. So I want to try and crack this open. Usually when you got a hollow like this, it's easy, but the challenging part of white oak is not the core, it's the sapwood. And this definitely is not what I would consider a prime tool to split something like this, but we'll give it a shot. Are you not entertained? entertain. Okay. All right. Basically the same. I'm gonna go this way too. I'm gonna go on the side. Kind of bananas. There is a madness. Luckily, this is pretty straight grain. I thought the way it flared down on that end was going to be kind of a booger, but which is not so. Having fun. There's no way this is the right way to do this, but it's kind of fun to swing it a little different. Well, it's definitely waking the old ants up. Some of them didn't quite get the memo about housing gentrification situation. But I got a feeling they'll catch up now. There's that twist. I knew it was in there. This is going to be the summer of the white oak, I think. He's got half a dozen of them over there that he needs or that he wants to cut down. A couple of hickories, one big red oak. Could be a black oak, which is the red oak family. Species, genus, whatever the hell it is, I don't know. So if you like white oak, I'm gonna put a lot of it out there. I might even put myself sawing it down. But I don't know, chainsaws are loud and noisy. Alright. I'll be out this morning, or this week in the morning, splitting on the rest of this, so I expect there'll be a little more.